A few thoughts coming out of the Republican Democratic conventions. This is a difficult time for both the political establishment, well, actually the political establishment, which includes the mainstream media, organized labor, crony capitalists, the political wing of the arts community, the chiefs of the Assembly of First Nations. Well, just about anyone who's on the receiving end of significant government money is part of that establishment. But everywhere they look, it must be so confusing because they're surprised by what happened with Brexit, Italy's five-star movement in Rome, Trump and Saunders' popularity. And on Thursday, Catalonia, the most prosperous state in Spain, capital city Barcelona, has voted to secede. And that's just about as big a middle finger as you can give the Spanish political establishment. I mean, the list goes on. Put your money on the anti-EU Freedom Party winning the Austrian runoff election in November. But I think for them, everywhere they look, they're surprised. What the establishment can't seem to grasp, doesn't want to grasp, I don't know if they can even entertain it, is that we're changing government's role in society, whether they like it or not. And I think they're going to continue to be surprised until they understand that. And so will investors. I keep talking about the decline of the establishment fueled by an increasing lack of confidence in government because it's the key trend driving the major moves in financial markets, whether it's currencies, precious metals, stocks, you name it. And no one else in the media seems to talk about it. So I got to. I used to think that we could avoid what's happening by taking a different course. But what's clear to me now is we're not going to, because there's no appetite by the elites to change course. It's amazing to witness what's going on in the U.S. presidential election and not even suspect that there's a bigger picture. I mean, my goodness, a choice between the blowhard narcissist, Donald Trump, who's never been held hostage by the facts or the truth, and Hillary Clinton, an unethical action machine, a pathological liar. By the way, it's almost laughable to see the press, especially in Canada, line up behind Hillary. I held my finger over my nose, or rather, tweaked my nose, watching and reading the coverage of the latest batch of emails chronicling the subversive efforts of the Democratic Party brass to undermine Bernie Sanders. In collusion, I might add, with some members of the media. I mean, it's important to understand that this was not an attack on government. That's one thing. Or government corruption. This is very different, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. It was an attack on democracy itself, and that's the thing that has far more serious consequences for the overall system, because when confidence leaves that system, boy, what comes out the other end can be very dark. I mean, that was a very serious thing. As I say, didn't read a thing about it. But I haven't read or heard a single commentator. You know, why didn't they pick up on this? Maybe they're too enamored with their own opinions, their political preferences, their own views. I don't know. Let me finish by noting another major check mark on the road to establishment hell. And that's the Democrat and the media cheerleading for the Democrats' message of sunny days, that narrative. Now, I appreciate they're saying that as an alternative to Trump's message of dark times. But I don't know if they're so out of touch with what's going on that they actually believe it. Certainly members of the media do. Sure, it's sunny days if you're a political lobbyist, a member of Congress, or one of the Clintons. I mean, according to the Financial Times, the Clintons made $28 million in 2014, $27 million in 2013. But consider this, between 2007 and 2014, the median wealth of Americans dropped 43%. The number of people on food stamps hit record highs, while the net worth of the average congressman jumped 28%. Yeah, it's sunny days for them. But I wonder if the black community in Baltimore, Ferguson, Missouri, or Dallas thinks that it's sunny days. I mean, the majority of the media commentary delights in contrasting the doom and gloom of Donald Trump with the Democrats' sunny days message. How totally establishment of them. We're witnessing the most murderous racial tensions in decades. A record 95 million Americans are permanently unemployed, and now an election between the two most unpopular, most flawed candidates in history. And they laugh at Trump's dark days message and cheerlead the Democrats' elitist delusion. But this is the age of consequences. That's the theme of this show over the last 2 years. And when you ignore the disenfranchised, the increasing number of people permanently unemployed, the intellectually and morally inferior, at least according to the progressive left, it all comes at a price. In the U.S., social discord's on the rise. The elites are increasingly seen as corrupt, self-serving, untrustworthy. And that's going to lead to change. Change already on display in Europe. and it's going to bring down the EU in its current form. Please note my prediction here. The next 4 years are going to make the economic, financial, and political chaos of the last 7 years look like the good old days. It's coming. It will change everything, and unfortunately, for way too many people in the mainstream media and the political establishment, they're not going to see this one coming.